Hi and welcome to Templay. We'll be looking inside the industry that's taking over the world. Which games are most influential, most controversial, what the best looking games are, and the worst. You'll find out all you need to know on Templay. When Pong was first introduced to an unsuspecting public back in the 70s, games were predominantly about the player, i.e. you. They continued in this vein for a while. The character stayed firmly out of the game. That was until games like Gunfight came along, and suddenly you weren't just a games player, you were a cowboy. The adventure had begun. Since that day, designers have been adding characters as an integral part of gameplay. They're smart, they're funny, they can achieve feats of daring that no ordinary mortal can accomplish. They're superhuman, sometimes they're not human at all. So iconic are they have, by the back door, entered the public consciousness. You think you know nothing about games? Think again. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the Templay countdown of the best games characters in the world. Pay attention now, this is straight in at number 10. In 1991, when Street Fighter II was devised, the original plan was to do away with the old characters, but the public demanded the two original fighters make a return. With an additional 10 pugilists from around the world, Street Fighter II grabbed the gaming community's absolute attention. The toughest by far was the quietly confident student from the Shotokan School of Karate, one of the original characters, Ryu.
One of the important things to remember about designing a computer fighting game is to make sure the characters in the game have their own roles. You've got to bear in mind that people who are going to play these games are often going to play the characters where their moves are easiest to pick up and master. Ryu is one of these guys who's very accessible for people who want to play the games. You could even say that he's a cliched martial arts type.
Ryu's recognition factor lands him in the Templay chart at number 10. Make way for character number 9. Back in the 80s, when Arnie and Sly were battling each other for screen supremacy, a new character entered the fold. Metal Gear was the first game to use stealth tactics rather than out-and-out shooting action to redefine gameplay. The central character in the game was the newest member of the elite military team, Foxhound. After defeating the big boss in the original game, he was called back for a number of sequels. Over the course of these, and with the introduction of Sony's PlayStation technology, Solid Snake was brought to life.
This is Snake.
Solid Snake is a commando. He is one of the oldest characters in the Japanese game industry. He started on computer like MSX. With PlayStation 2, he had emotion. He had psychology.
Forget the psychology. This bloke just looks like a psycho.
His principal weapon is actually stealth.
Well, I mean, what exactly does Solid Snake mean? It's a bit of a weird name, isn't it? And what about the others? Revolver Ocelot and Jack Russell Machine Gun or something?
You have to feel that those names made more sense in the original Japanese. I mean, can you imagine, news reports that terrorists had taken over a building and that they were declaring their names were like Revolver Ocelot and Decoy Octopus and Psycho Mantis. I mean, you'd fall around laughing, wouldn't you?
So that's why you changed my code name.
So what's in a name? You can't deny that Snake's a great-looking character, can you?
Well, his hair is a bit 80s, isn't it? I mean, the guy's stuck in a time warp. And what about his walk? I mean, he actually does a mince along. It's not exactly macho.
He's a very attractive man, and I think that, in all seriousness, is quite an interesting diversion for game characterization.
Freeze. Huh?
So, Solid Snake. He's a man's man with a softer side. However, he still smokes 20 a day and has a mullet. Easy to spot in a crowd, his recognition factor lands him in at number 9. In at number 8... 1986 saw the launch of a new type of game for the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES for those in the know. It was the first to have a free movement environment, not platform view, but more of a bird's eye view. And it was the first game ever to feature a built-in lithium battery for saving games, so you could come back to it weeks later. The central character stuck in a few memories too.
I would say Zelda is one of my favorite because he's one of the very rare character who start like a child and grow up to become adult.
It was the age-old story. Bad guy kidnaps princess who is then saved by hero. Set in the magical land of Hyrule, our hero Link is a pixie-type elf thing that's thrown into a world of swordplay, magic and fairies. His quest is to save Princess Zelda from the evil clutches of Ganon.
With something like Zelda, Link, the main character, he's really sexless and quite naive. It's a real character trait for Nintendo. They do that a lot because they want to make people feel safe and comfortable. You don't feel that Link's got any advantage over you. He's not older than you, he's not younger than you. With some characters you feel like you're doing it for your own gain. Take Lara Croft. You know, she's a rich babe running around tombs in Egypt. I mean, she should be on a yacht somewhere. You're basically just playing it because you want to look at her. With Link, you've got to rescue the princess. That's a good noble cause, and it's something that you have to admire.
With the exception of his rather girly costume, I think I'd like to be Link because he has the best adventures, he gets up to the most exciting things, and he's got the most credibility.
So popular was Link, he returned for 7, count 'em, that's 7 sequels. Link is still going strong 15 years after his original appearance. Well worthy of the recognisable number 8 spot in our humble opinion.
Are you ready to prove who's the best? Join the ultimate mobile gaming community in the N-Gage arena. With the exclusive shadow racing feature, wirelessly download your opponent's fastest lap, beat their time and show the world who's #1. Take on the world in the N-Gage arena now. Rated T for teen.
Getting a new car is a good thing. Getting a brand new Honda Civic with impressive savings on features like air conditioning, CD player, and a center storage console is an even better thing. So go see your Honda dealer today and ask for the Civic Value Package. Oh, coupon not required. Now you can lease a 2004 Civic Value Package Coupe for $159 a month for 36 months.
Tony Hawk's Underground. Rated T for teen.
My name is Joel Barish. I'm here to erase Clementine Krasinski.
They went into his mind.
This is a hoax, right? I assure you not.
To erase his bad memories.
Is there a risk of brain damage? Technically, the procedure is brain damage.
But a harmless procedure
He's off the map.
is about to go haywire.
You don't scare me anymore.
Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, Kirsten Dunst, Elijah Wood.
I love being bathed in the sink.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I want my mommy.
Rated R. Starts Friday, March 19th at theaters everywhere.
Tobacco companies sell a product that kills their customers. But without their customers, they go out of business. So every day they need to attract what one tobacco exec called, quote, replacement smokers.
My dad died from emphysema from smoking 6 years ago. I haven't met his replacement yet.
Check this out. This is what we do for a living.
We're video game designers.
And we're game programmers.
With the training offered at Collins College, you can learn to design, code, and test games like this.
And this.
Game design is a growing career.
For a brochure on a career in game design, call Collins College at 1-888-256-1200 now. That's 1-888-256-1200. Call Collins College now.
that owns you, noob.
In 1991, the public's appetite for cute game characters was almost insatiable. Nintendo's rotund plumber, along with his ever-present supporting cast, were leading the field when Sega decided to enter the race. A competition to come up with a palatable hero was devised, and Sonic the Hedgehog was born. Quick, electric blue, and resplendent in red running shoes, the journey had begun.
Sonic was great. The thing that I remember about Sonic was it's the first game I remember that I lost big chunks of time to. You always had to get just beyond that next level. You had to get to that secret area. You had to uncover that bit.
The thing about Sonic was he was designed to move really, really fast, but if you moved as fast as he could go, then you missed half of the game because you couldn't see what was going on around you.
If he stands still and starts talking, I don't really like him as much.
Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies. I'm out of here.
It was almost disappointing.
Yeah, the American accents were a bit of a letdown, weren't they? It was like you had this really cool blue hedgehog, and you know, when we talked, it was like,
yo, bro.
Yeah, exactly. It was like he was trying to sell you jeans from the Gap.
I like running better.
Well, despite the annoying voice, Sonic has appeared in a massive 28 games, which isn't bad considering the average life expectancy of a hedgehog is just under a year, give or take a few carriageways. OK, enough of cute. It's time to get tough with number 6. In the early 90s, the PC was introduced to the most un-PC character since John Wayne. Duke Nukem, released in 1991 as a 2D side-scrolling game, can proudly claim to be the game's world's first truly sexist character. Forget Arnie, the Duke had his own one-liners. Size definitely matters with this guy. It's big guns and even bigger attitude.
I think the big influence for Duke Nukem is the characters in action movies like John Wayne and Arnold Schwarzenegger. These are just iconic action heroes that I think we all grew up with, and Duke is sort of like a melting pot of all of them.
This world is so nicely built. It's a very realistic, although very cartoon comic book kind of world. It's very much built around his personality, what with the strip joints and so forth. And the other factor is that the sound bites, well, they're really nicely done, and they're very funny.
Just point me in the right direction. I'll have this settled in no time.
The great thing about Duke Nukem was his interactivity. A player could interact with the world in many different ways. For instance, in one level, you could actually demolish an entire skyscraper, then go inside a strip club, play a game of pool, then go in and watch the dancers and hand them money.
One of the things that we're always going to stay true to is that you'll never see Duke's eyes. I mean, even in the movie that's being developed, that's one of the points that must be stuck with, is that you just never see Duke's eyes.
If I need to contact you, I will do it via your Shades operating system built into your sunglasses.
And of course he has that immortal phrase, it's time to kick butt or chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of gum.
One of the most recognisable PC characters blasts in at number 6. And it's over now to perhaps the oddest of all our characters, crashing in at number 5. Few had even heard of this animal until this character burst background kicking onto the scene. The decision to cast a bandicoot in the leading role seemed to be spot on, however, with over 22 million games sold for the PlayStation worldwide.
Crash Bandicoot was a great character. I mean, he was done in the real spirit of those old animations, so I kind of love that.
If it isn't Crash Bandicoot.
We had this idea that if we could pick a creature, or a word really, that was well known, but at the same time was unknown, so that the word made sense, it sounded right, but no one knew what it was or what it looked like, that we could put in people's minds the idea of what that character looked like.
Crash Bandicoot came at what must have been a trend at the time for a series of weird names. You had Donkey Kong, Sonic the Hedgehog, Echo the Dolphin. So I think PlayStation really wanted to latch onto the idea of having a real Mickey Mouse character for them.
So we know why he's a bandicoot, but why did they call him Crash?
It's actually a really easy decision to name him Crash because he crashes through boxes. And that's what he does for a living. He's a bandicoot, he smashes stuff, Crash Bandicoot. And believe me, we went through a lot of really bad names. There was somebody at Universal, who was our publisher, that gave us 3 choices: Wuzzles Wombat, Wex Wombat, and Wezzy. So believe me, in the end, we picked the right name.
From one odd name to another, this one took the world by storm and charges into our number 4 spot. Pikachu and his family of fighting friends were inspired by the designer's childhood recollections of collecting bugs in jars. Yes, quite. This pocket monster was unleashed upon an unsuspecting public in 1996 and basically took over the planet. Bags, games, pencils, playing cards, it was a marketing man's dream. The games were almost secondary.
I can remember being in the office of N64 magazine and hearing about the Pokemon phenomenon from Japan, whereby Japanese school kids would collect these cards of monsters. And I can remember saying to my then deputy editor, this will never, ever work in the UK or America. I hope they don't release it over here, it's going to be embarrassing. How right I was.
Everybody knows Pokemon, and I think Pikachu is the most popular.
Pikachu is possibly the most annoying one of them, the little yellow one that shoots the electric bolts out of his tail.
Whenever it comes to video games, whenever a kid is asking what characters do you like or what characters do you know, there will be always some words: Mario, Zelda, and obviously Pikachu.
Ah, sweet. Blech. Moving on to probably the most recognisable of all in our rundown, and he was inspired by leftover junk food, biting into number 3. Pac-Man was inspired by a pizza with a slice missing. Only this pizza did all the eating. From humble origins, this game character has since been licensed to over 250 companies for over 400 products. Originally called Puckman, but altered to avoid hysterical graffiti opportunists, the game's manufacturers, Namco, wisely decided on Pac-Man, and they've never looked back.
Pac-Man was arguably one of the first video game characters. Up until the game came out, gamers had tended to take charge of faceless spaceship blobs or very rudimentary car shapes. Nothing that you could really call alive or human.
What I really liked about it was you only had one knob, right? You didn't have to like do this and then do this.
The real effect Pac-Man had on the games industry was the massive marketing opportunity it actually presented. I mean, Pac-Man was a massive marketing explosion.
Yeah, it was like Pac-Man lunchboxes, Pac-Man t-shirts, scratch cards everywhere.
It doesn't have any sort of physical relations to human beings, and it was just almost like a supreme synthesis of design. I wouldn't really know that as a kid, but you know, being an animator nowadays, I would say that.
Ah, those halcyon days of gaming. Right, enough of that. Let's bring it right up to date with the 2 best reasons for gaming in the 90s.
Rated E for everyone. At Rainbow Studios, we wanted even the most dangerous stuff to look realistic. So we brought in our intern, Toby.
Are you ready? Go! Go!
Thanks to him, you can do things in this game you've never done before, like go head-to-head with a monster truck, outrun a biplane, or jump a helicopter. You're the man, Toby. You're the man. MX Unleashed.
Ever wondered what it's really like to be a soldier?
What do you got?
I'm a sit rep from Alpha Company.
QT, ready to be verified. Verified.
Put yourself in the picture with this free video. You'll see over 200 great jobs in the Army and over 180 in the Army Reserve. You'll also see what skills you learn, how you can earn money for college, even what soldiers do in their free time. Call 1-800-984-ARMY now and get this free t-shirt and your free video. Put yourself in the picture and see what it's really like to become an Army of One.
There's so many cool things going on at the G4 booth this year, but one of the coolest things is they're giving out free tattoos. Not little fake tattoos that you put on with water. The real deal. Needle and ink going in your skin. One thing is, it's got to have the G4 logo in it.
It shows dedication, that's for sure. Just like that.
I'm a little nervous, yeah, it's first time. Oh, wow. The pain purifier.
devotion to video games. Yeah. They were like free tattoos, and I was like, well, that sounds good. They were like G4 logo, and I was like, that sounds even better. They gave that to me, dude. G4 is a great station. They usually leave it on 24/7. It was just insane the first time I saw it. It's awesome. I need to call my cable provider. I watch it all the time. I'll start watching it now. Watch G4 TV for gamers.
Buried Treasure is brought to you by EB Games.
I'm here at EB Games, and I've got a little bit of a dilemma for you. How do you go up against a powerhouse like Tony Hawk's Pro Skateboarder? It's pretty hard, and I think everybody that's tried has had a lot of difficulty with it, including this game. This one's called Grind Session. It was published by Sony first party for the PlayStation 1. It's a little bit different than Tony Hawk. It shares some similarities, obviously. It's another skateboarding game. There's some real-life skate parks in there that are based in Atlanta and London and Vancouver and San Francisco and Huntington Beach. There's real-life pros in here. My favorite one is Pigpen. Anyways, you got all kinds of really cool style and moves that you can pull off. The grinding is a really big deal in here. And grinding throughout the game is a lot of fun and very easy. And comboing and linking up the tricks actually work quite well. This one's called Grind Session. It's Sony first party for the PlayStation 1. Go check it out.
Check out this and other buried treasures at EB Games. We take games seriously.
Next week on G4, see Hoop's hottest stars as Sweat takes you to the 2004 NBA All-Star Game. You gotta see this. Then, with entry into the Hall of Champions on the line, Team Kaizen faces off against Team 1051 on Arena. And Filter takes you on a chocobo ride through the best games, bosses, and characters of Final Fantasy. Sweat Monday at 10 p.m. Arena Tuesday at 10 p.m. And Filter Thursday at 10:30 p.m.
The mid-90s spawned a gaming revolution the like of which had never been seen. Up until 1996, most characters had either been male or cute animal, but all that was about to change. She was tough, posh, sexy, rich. She was every schoolboy's dream. She even made the rare successful transition from game to movie. She's been raiding tombs for nearly a decade. She is Lara Croft.
There are two main reasons why people really get into Tomb Raider, and they're both on the front of Lara Croft. But it's the character of Lara that really makes the game, the character and the physical attributes.
I mean, she was like the first computer game character that you actually felt sort of slightly guilty in the Catholic sense for playing.
She's the daughter of a very influential and rich family. She had a very, very privileged upbringing. You know, we always say sort of butlers and corgis. She sort of almost rebelled against all that. She found that there was something out there in life that sort of motivated her, which was, you know, that the zest and feist of sort of being out there, being on the limit, being on the edge of going and finding artifacts.
Semaket, High Priest of Horus, forewarned that he... Before Lara, the man on the street didn't really have an image of what computer games were, but now when you hear the name Lara Croft, you think computer games, and that's a big step forward.
Lara Croft had such an impact on the games industry, I think, because firstly she was a female. You know, that had never been done before. That allowed people to relate to the character, nurture the character, look after her as a character far more than a man with guns.
What scares me about Lara Croft is that everything that walks, crawls or flies hates her with a passion. It's like she's the embodiment of human evil.
The impact Lara's had on the industry, you know, outside of the video game, I think is you know, singly down to her as a character. She's made that transition from video game onto the big screen, to the movie. You know, people wanted to know more about Lara as a character. They wanted to have the action figures.
So, what's our favourite game girl up to right now?
Your hand, Lara. Give me your hand.
She's had a near-death experience at the end of the last Revelation where, you know, she was missing, presumed dead. And that's allowed her to focus on some new things. Maybe she's come out of that and said that maybe finding a husband is the most important thing in her life.
Lara looks set to continue her reign as Queen of Games characters with the release of Angel of Darkness for the PS2. But before we crown our king, let's run down from 10 to 2. At 10 was everyone's favourite street fighting martial artist, Ryu. Creeping stealthily in at number 9 was the stunning Solid Snake. At 8, the hero of Hyrule, Link. Blue was the colour at number 7 as Sonic the Hedgehog rolled in. Number 6 was un-PC on your PC, Duke Nukem. At 5, we crashed the party of the world's favourite Bandicoot. We had to pick and choose this little guy for our number 4 spot. At 3, we went back to the arcade for a quick bite with Pac-Man. Showing off her impressive polygons, Lara Croft raided the number 2 spot. But who managed to plumb the depths of our chart and make the number 1 spot? The legend of Mario has gone down in gaming history. Named supposedly after an Italian plumber called out to Nintendo's US office, our star first made an appearance in 1981 in the arcade game Donkey Kong. Who would have thought a short, fat Italian plumber originally named Jumpman would get to star in his own series of games with such stunning longevity and success?
My favourite video game character is, well, the best video game character ever created, and that's Mario.
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 Well, growing up, I was definitely in love with Mario. He's a great character. He's a wonderful character from a gameplay standpoint.
Everything about Mario we still see today has been based around the functional character. There wasn't much you could do in those days to make them look like a real human, so graphics were designed around making that easier to do. He wore dungarees so you could see his arms move, because he was a very little sprite in those days. And his moustache was designed so you didn't actually have to draw a mouth.
He was not really charismatic at the beginning of the series. I mean, graphics were not very evolved. He became 3D, and with 3D the added motion.
I think he created the need for these mascot characters.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the only actual influence that he had.
There was a survey in the early 90s about character recognisability for American children, and Mario pipped Mickey Mouse to second place, but they were both beaten by Ronald McDonald.
Getting pipped to the post by a mop-headed clown is enough to depress anybody, but our Mario's too much of a nice chap for that, right?
Don't really know anything about Mario's personality. Just know that he lives in an extremely strange place.
He's always incredibly delighted with absolutely everything that's going on, and more power to him. I wish I felt like that sometimes.
He has such a perfect game personality, and it's just so much fun to play.
Yeah! Wow! Yeah! Yahoo!
We've been bowled over by a hedgehog, gobbled up by a pizza, sucked up by a plumber, flattened by a bandicoot, and been stunned by our very own sharpshooting game girl Lara Croft. Love 'em or hate 'em, the game world would be a much less colourful place without the characters. We'll see you next time on Templay.